Okay, let's talk about the IELTS academic reading test. It can feel like this totally impossible puzzle, right? But here's the secret. It's a puzzle with a system, a code. And in this explainer, we are going to crack that code together.
So why does it feel so complicated? Well, it's because you're not just dealing with one type of question. You're facing 12 of them. Yep, 12 different question formats. And trying to learn all of them at once? That's just a recipe for feeling completely overwhelmed. But don't worry, there's a much simpler way to look at all this.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by breaking down the puzzle, then group all those questions into 3 main families. You'll see what I mean. We'll look at each one, and then we'll finish up with a kind of strategic map to help you on test day. All right, so instead of trying to memorize a super long list of 12 different things, we're going to get organized. By grouping all the questions into just 3 logical families, you'll start to see the core skill each one is really testing. It's all about working smarter, not harder. And here they are. These are our 3 families: matching tasks, completion tasks, and choice tasks. Simple, right? Every single one of those 12 question types fits neatly into one of these categories. So let's dive into the first one.
Okay, our first family, the matching tasks. The name kind of gives it away, doesn't it? For all of these questions, your main job is to make connections. You're linking one piece of information, like maybe a heading or a person's name, to another piece of information that you find in the text.
First up in this family is matching headings. This is a classic IELTS task. You've probably seen it. You get a list of headings, and you have to match the right one to each paragraph in the text. This isn't about finding tiny little details. It's all about seeing the big picture. What's the main idea of this whole section? You'll almost always find this one in part 2 of the test. And the key skill here, really, is grasping the main point of an entire paragraph. For example, you might get a text about something like the physics of traffic behavior, and you have to summarize each paragraph's purpose with one of the headings.
Next up, we've got matching features. So for this one, you'll get a list of statements. It could be a list of discoveries, or maybe a bunch of opinions. And you have to match them to a set of options from the text, like a list of scientists or different time periods.
This one usually shows up in part 1, and it's all about testing your ability to scan for specific names or dates and then connect them to what they actually did or said. You might see this with a topic like, say, the development of rockets, where you're matching famous pioneers to their specific inventions.
And the last member of our matching family is matching sentence endings. You're given the first half of a bunch of sentences, and your job is to find the correct ending for each one from a list. You need to create a sentence that makes sense both logically and grammatically. Now, this is a part 3 question, so you can bet the text is going to be more complex, maybe something about the scientific community back in 1700s London. It really forces you to understand the detailed ideas inside each sentence, not just the general topic.
All right, that's one family down. On to our second one, the completion tasks. I mean, the name says it all, right? For every single question in this group, your mission is simple. Find missing information from the text and use it to fill in a blank.
And this can look a lot of different ways. You might be filling in notes about Marie Curie, or completing sentences about birds and dinosaurs. You could be filling out a table on dung beetles, or even completing a flowchart about low-calorie diets. See, the format changes, but the core task is always the same. Find the missing word or words. Now, a really important one in this family is summary completion. You get a short summary of a part of the text, but it has some words missing. But there's a little twist. This one comes in 2 very distinct flavors.
Okay, so here are the 2 variations. On the one hand, you might have to pull the exact words from the passage itself, no changing them, no synonyms allowed. On the other hand, you could be given a box of words to choose from, which is more of a test of your understanding of paraphrasing. Knowing which version you're dealing with is totally key to your strategy.
Let's move on to our third and final family, the choice tasks. These are probably the ones you're most familiar with from, well, pretty much any test you've ever taken. Your job here isn't to find words or match things up, but simply to select the correct answer from a list of options. And of course, this family includes the classic multiple choice question. The absolute key here is to read the instructions very carefully because sometimes you'll need to choose just one correct answer, but other times you might need to pick 2 or even 3.
This is a real staple of part 1. You might be reading a text about, say, older people in the workforce, and it's designed to check if you've understood specific points and details, not just the general gist of the passage. And now for a really famous or maybe infamous one, identifying information.
You probably know it as true, false, or not given. This is a choice task where you have to decide if a statement agrees with the text, contradicts it, or if the information just isn't there at all. And that not given option, that's the crucial one that trips a lot of people up.
You'll also find this one in Part 1, maybe in that same text about Marie Curie we mentioned earlier. This question type is a pure test of your ability to scan, find the right spot, and then very carefully evaluate specific information to see if it's actually there or not.
Okay, so now that we've met all 12 question types and sorted them into their nice, neat families, let's put it all together. Think of this as your strategic map for test day. It's going to show you where you can expect to run into each type of challenge.
This table here is our test day map. So as you can see, Part 1 is really heavy on those choice and completion tasks, things like multiple choice and table completion. Then Part 2 often brings in the big picture questions, like matching headings. And finally, Part 3 throws the more complex challenges at you, like summary completion and matching sentence endings. Just knowing this pattern helps you anticipate what's coming next, so you're never caught off guard.
So, when you boil it all down, what does this all mean? It means the IELTS reading test isn't just a test of your English. It's a test of your ability to understand a system. And once you see the patterns, the three families, the structure of the different parts, the whole puzzle becomes so much easier to solve.
We've just laid out the entire map of the reading test for you. Those 12 challenges, they're not a mystery anymore. So the only question left is, now that you have the map, which question type will you master first?